The Albuquerque sun hung low, casting long shadows across the barren expanse of the West Mesa. It was February 2nd, 2009, and Christine Ross walked her dog, Ruka, along a familiar trail in the undeveloped scrubland. The desert was quiet, save for the crunch of sand beneath her boots and Ruka's excited panting. This stretch of land, just within city limits, was a place of solitude, dotted with tumbleweeds and the occasional rusted fence. But today, something felt off. Ruka darted ahead, nose to the ground, and stopped abruptly, pawing at a patch of disturbed earth. Christine approached, expecting another animal bone, common in this desolate place. But what she saw made her breath catch, a long, pale bone unmistakably human, protruding from the sand. She snapped a photo and sent it to her sister, a nurse, who confirmed her fear. It was a femur. Within hours, Albuquerque. Police arrived, cordoning off the area. The investigation that followed would uncover a horror unlike anything Albuquerque had seen. Over weeks of meticulous excavation, detectives unearthed the remains of 11 women and one unborn child, buried in shallow graves across a 92-acre plot. The victims, identified over months through DNA and dental records, were Jamie Barella, Monica Candelaria, Victoria Chavez, Virginia Cloven, Selenia Edwards, Cinnamon Elks, Doreen Marquez, Julie Nieto, Veronica Romero, Evelyn Salazar, and Michelle Valdez. They were young, aged 15 to 32, mostly Hispanic, and most had ties to sex work and struggles with addiction. The killer, dubbed the West Mesa Bone Collector, had preyed on the vulnerable, and the case remained unsolved. The desert itself told a story. Satellite images from 2003 to 2005 showed tire tracks, snaking toward the burial site, patches of disturbed soil growing with each new grave. The area, once a quiet royal bank, had been slated for housing development, but the 2008 housing bubble collapse halted construction. A retaining wall, built to manage flooding, had inadvertently churned up the bones, exposing the killer's secret. The discovery sent shockwaves through the city. Families who had long suspected their loved ones were gone now faced grim confirmation. Memorials, candles, flowers, handwritten notes sprang up along the site's perimeter, a quiet cry for justice. Detective Ida Lopez led the 118th Street Task Force, her days consumed by the case. She pored over timelines, interviewed hundreds of women who worked Albuquerque streets, and chased leads that often led nowhere. The victims' lives painted a picture of hardship. Most were from New Mexico, their lives tangled in the city's underbelly along historic Route 66, a strip known for drugs and sex trafficking. Jamie Barella, only 15, stood out. She wasn't a sex worker, just a girl who'd gone to a park with her cousin Evelyn Salazar in 2004 and never returned. Her curling iron was still on when her mother checked her room, a haunting detail of a life interrupted. Suspects emerged, but none stuck. Fred Reynolds, a pimp who knew one of the victims, had photos of missing women, but died of natural causes in January 2009, just before the bodies were found. Ron Irwin, a Missouri photographer who frequented the New Mexico State Fair near the burial site, had thousands of photos seized, but police cleared him. Scott Lee Kimball, a convicted serial killer, was briefly investigated but denied involvement. Then there was Lorenzo Montoya, a pressman who lived less than 3 miles from the site. Dirt trails led from his trailer park to the graves. In December 2006, Montoya strangled 19-year-old Sharika Hill, a sex worker, in his trailer. Her boyfriend, Frederick Williams, shot him dead as he tried to move her body. A chilling video found in Montoya's home showed him with an unidentified woman, possibly dead, followed by sounds of duct tape and a garbage bag being prepared. The killing stopped after his death, a detail that hung heavy in Ida's mind. Another name lingered, Joseph Lee, a serial rapist serving 90 years for assaults on young girls. His ex-wife called police days after the first bone was found, pointing to his history of stalking sex workers and over 130 police contacts in areas they frequented. A plant tag found near one grave hinted at Blee, who worked in landscaping, but the lead fizzled. Thousands of nursery receipts yielded nothing. Ida's former chief, Michael Geyer, called Montoya and Blee the strongest candidates, but admitted sometimes there's a surprise. The investigation stretched on, a labyrinth of dead ends. The task force sifted through tips, hundreds each year, some leading to searches, like one in 2018 using ground-penetrating radar. Bones found that year proved ancient, unrelated to case. Another search in 2021 turned up nothing. The police pleaded for public help, offering a $100,000 reward. Albuquerque's mayor, Tim Keller, insisted the case hinged on new information from the community. This is someone who knew the area, had access to these women, and was comfortable here. Ida told reporters, a predator. The victims' families clung to memories of who their loved ones were beyond their struggles. Victoria Chavez loved hiking, her mother recalled, her smile bright despite her hardships. Doreen Marquez's daughter spoke of her mother's beauty, her long, gorgeous hair. Michelle Valdez, for months pregnant when she died, lit up rooms, her father said. Their stories fueled Ida's resolve, but a lack of physical evidence, bones too degraded to pinpoint cause of death, made the case a ghost. A cold case you can't have, one expert noted. The desert had swallowed secrets only the killer knew. Theories swirled. Some pointed to a sex trafficking ring, possibly tied to El Salvador or operating through Texas, targeting women during events like the state fair. Others whispered about dirty cops or drug gangs, though no evidence solidified these claims. The city's police department, under federal scrutiny for excessive force since 2015, faced distrust. But Ida dismissed myths that investigators didn't care. We haven't solved it because the evidence isn't there, she said, frustration edging her voice. In 2020, the city opened a park at the burial site, a quiet memorial to the women. Paper tags with handwritten notes, angels, prayers, pleas for justice, fluttered along the fence. Street Safe New Mexico, founded in 2009 to track missing women, kept their names alive. You have to know people to notice they're gone, said Christine Barber, the group's head. The case, now 15 years old, lingered in Albuquerque's psyche, its weight felt in quiet moments. A 2024 film, Boneyard, inspired by the murders, took liberties but aimed to honor the victims. Its writer, Vince McDaniel, knew some of them. They deserved a voice, he said. Ida sat at her desk, files sprawled before her. Photos of the women stared back, smiling in old snapshots, full of life. She traced the timeline again. Disappearances from 2001 to 2005, bodies found in 2009, no arrests. Montoya's death aligned to the end of the killings, his trailer's proximity a nagging clue. Blee's record gnawed her too, but without DNA or confession. Both were shadows. The desert held its silence, and the West Mesa bone collector remained a phantom, his crimes a wound that wouldn't heal.